Onana hints at exit, Mourinho makes some calls, Dortmund chase another English star, the Eredivisie is cancelled, and a transfer roundup all coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host Matt Froelich, you are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. First off, and apparently Ajax's goalkeeper Onana is set to leave the club and potentially head back to Barcelona. Over the weekend, the Eredivisie was cancelled, prompting the Cameroonian goalkeeper to leave an Instagram post that said, "Ending with an empty stadium, but thanks for all the love and support." This maybe just hints at an exit and not necessarily the end of the season. If he were to leave, well, it's rumoured that Chelsea are interested in the shot stopper, but he is holding out for a return to Barcelona. Now, I say a return because he actually was at the club's academy for quite a few years before moving on to the Dutch side. But is he actually going to be getting any first team football? Apparently, he could command a transfer fee of around 30 to 40 million euros. This is quite a lot of money to spend on a backup goalkeeper. I say backup because he's not better than Ter Stegen, and Barcelona look like they want to keep the German shot stopper by offering him a brand new contract. The real problem they have is that Neto, since joining from Valencia last summer, just really has not been good enough. Fair enough, he's only had 4 appearances to kind of show that he is a good goalkeeper, but just hasn't gone so swimmingly. As for Onana, it's clearly he's a quality goalkeeper, and the thing he has going for him the most is that he's really comfortable with the ball at his feet, something which a Barcelona keeper always needs. Of course, being number 2 isn't great, but, should they not be able to tie down Ter Stegen to a new long-term contract, maybe Onana sees his opportunity. At age 24, he could be back up for like another 3 or 4 years and then go on to be Barcelona's number 1 keeper and then still have like a decade in the first team. Goalkeepers have such longevity, it's more of a long-term game for him. But moving on to the Premier League, where Jose Mourinho's phone has been very, very busy. Not only has he been calling up Norwich's Max Aarons to try and convince him to switch to North London in the summer, but also he's been on the phone to Thomas Meunier. Now, the PSG fullback, who's also part of the Belgian international setup, well, his contract is expiring at the end of the season, and Mourinho has been trying so hard to convince him that apparently he has been won over. Now, there are 2 obstacles in the way of Meunier switching to Tottenham. First off, Mourinho has to convince Daniel Levy that he is worth it, a notoriously difficult thing to do for absolutely any football manager, agent, or other chairman. Convincing Levy to part with his money is very, very difficult. And on the other hand, apparently Meunier would be happy to stay at PSG if they offered him a new deal. These 2 rather large obstacles are between him and Mourinho getting his man. Of course, as I mentioned, if he doesn't, he's also got Max Aarons, who looks to be a little bit more reasonable, even though Spurs are going to have to shell out a bit of money for him. He does have Premier League experience, so with Norwich going down, they'll probably be able to get him for a cheaper price, and his wages definitely won't be as high as PSG star Meunier. Alongside this as well, there will be another space in the Spurs squad at right back, as Kyle Walker-Peters' loan from to Southampton could be made a permanent one come the next transfer window. But talking of young English prospects, Bukayo Saka is apparently on the hit list of Borussia Dortmund. Now, they've got quite a bit of a reputation for bringing in some young English stars, especially Jadon Sancho, and turning him into an absolute world beater. Imagine if they kept on to him and had Saka on the other side. Unbelievable. The left winger has actually transitioned to a left back since joining the first team at Arsenal. But what a breakthrough season he's had. 29 appearances this season and a hell of a load of assists, especially in the Europa League. And it's no wonder why, with just 18 months left on his contract, that a few big clubs are circling. Of course, Arsenal want to keep him. It's an absolute no-brainer, a young English talent who's broke into their first team and definitely a massive star for the future. But with only 18 months left on his deal, they're going to have to act fast. If they don't sell him for any money in the summer, there's a massive risk they could lose him on a free next summer. Apparently, they're looking to up his £5,000 a week wages to whatever it is the first teamer normally gets at Arsenal. I'd probably say it's nothing less than 50 or 60 grand a week. Anyway, on top of this, Borussia Dortmund are always so interested in Jude Bellingham, but that transfer battle apparently between them and Manchester United is set to rumble on probably for a few more years, given the fact the Birmingham midfielder is only 16. So next up, and we mentioned it earlier in the Onana piece, but the Eredivisie has been cancelled. In case you missed the news this weekend, the Dutch top flight have decided there will be no relegation, there will be no promotion from the second division, and there will be no champions. That means the likes of Ajax or AZ Alkmaar, who are actually their closest challengers as they were tied on points, won't be lifting the Eredivisie crown this season. But will other leagues be following suit? looks highly unlikely. Serie A have apparently said that their players will return to individual training on the 4th of May with a view to team training returning on the 18th of May. Serie A looks like it could be less than a month away. As for the Bundesliga, we spoke on Friday about how that could be restarting in a few weeks. The Premier League looks desperate not to cancel their season, and the Spanish health minister has said La Liga could be returning in the autumn, although it's unclear whether or not that'll be the remainder of this season or they'll scrap it and it'll be the start of the new one. Now, as much as we love the Eredivisie and Ajax and PSG and all the teams in it and all the great players that come from it and their brilliant runs in European competitions, the financial implications just aren't as massive as like Bundesliga, Premier League, Serie A, the top European divisions. This means that by cancelling the season early, the clubs do get a payout and they don't have to necessarily worry about the financial difficulties that face them in the coming months. Of course, they actually do, but they also get a payout from the sponsorships as well, and it may be a little bit easier for them to manage in the upcoming months. This I can't see happening in the massive divisions, which is why they're looking to return. So lastly but not least, a quick roundup of the rest of the day's transfer rumours, where according to his agent, Frank Kessie will be staying with AC Milan this summer. Jetro Williams wants to make his loan from Frankfurt to Newcastle a permanent one. Roy Hodgson says he's worried he won't be able to attend any Crystal Palace matches on the bench because the restrictions may still count for people over the age of 70. And lastly but not least, the utter bullshit rumour of the day is that Paul Pogba has been offered to PSG, and apparently the French club are going to send Angel Di Maria in return. That's right, Man United want Di Maria back, who's now 32, and although he's a brilliant player, had an absolute horrid spell at Manchester United that completely goes against all sorts of signings they've been making in the last few years. This one is definitely not happening. So there you have it, that's all from me on today's Daily News, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Whilst you're there, you can smash the like button and click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on OneFootball. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.